we have an individual who was approached by the FBI to be an informant, and he turned him down, and he was, promptly discharged from the Marine Corps on a bullshit technicality. And, so we're going to talk about that. Now, before we go into a lot of detail, I just want to say this. I know a lot of guys in the alphabet agencies of this country. Most of them who are rank and file guys are ordinary dudes like me. All right. It's only the top asshats that have been, flipped, to turn them into political agencies, which they're not supposed to be. Now, ever since we had the stunning and brave ice cream social incident in 20 and 2022, somewhere between 80 million to 110 million people are thoroughly fed up with the horse shit that we all saw that transpired. Now, that puts the guys in law enforcement at a huge disadvantage. They are radically outnumbered. Okay? And like you heard with the Whitmore thing, like 12 or 15 individuals in that whole plot were all FBI informants. Just so you know. I myself was approached by the FBI in 2020 because I was starting the Preppers. I gave it an infantry name, and they came and questioned me about starting a army to overthrow the government. I literally said, please say that again slowly because stupid doesn't stick on the first pass sometimes. And then I literally told them, like, listen, I'm just doing comedy. I'm talking about current events. But if I come across any crazy shit or somebody's going to do a mass casualty event like Oklahoma City, I am not going to remain quiet about this. I can't live with that kind of guilt. All right. I don't think anyone would. Now, am I going to be wearing a wire and No, I'm not doing that shit at all. Okay. I'm just saying, as a person who wants to save lives, if I come across something that big, all bets are off.
Ladies and germs, introducing Paul Kaltenbach.
And he's still got his goddamn basic training AIT haircut.
Hair doesn't grow that quickly.
And he's all decked out in his KFC plaid right there.
I like it. I like it. All right, so let's before we get into the actual situation, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, my name is Paul Kaltenbach. I went to basic training, got kicked out. So now I'm here.
Now
I'm from Rochester, New York.
Okay. So you're from red trash land.
Yeah, basically. It's the middle of nowhere. Canada.
Yeah.
People kept referring to that. It is Canada boot camp.
Oh, okay.
It is.
And which Marine base were you on? Pendleton or?
I was on Parris Island.
Parris Island. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's usually where most of the noobs go to get minted as fresh Marines.
You have sang the praises of the infantry that come off of Parris Island.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to be honest. The straight leg infantry guys that come off Parris Island, the 0311s, at that point in time are probably the best infantry examples on the planet. All right. It will take like individuals from the Army. It'll take them an additional 3 to 6 months to get to that level. Only if they go to a unit that has a high op tempo and will train them even further. I'm talking like 82nd Rangers. It used to be 7th ID. Units like that. The 101st is good too. But other than that, it is what it is. Now, this individual, apparently he had some interactions with other individuals. Why don't you walk us through this?
Walk us through it. So how long were you in basic before all this came to a head?
You went all the way through.
I went all the way through. I was less than a week from graduation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
wow.
All right. Yeah. Listen, that's just how it works. All right.
Is
They-
it?
They probably already knew they were going to shit can you, and they just wanted you to stay all the way to end just to punish you more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, not everybody here knows the story. So,
Okay.
Paul, I mean, let us know what went down.
Yeah.
Because I've read through the article, but I want to hear it from you.
I'll just start from the beginning, basically. So it all started like I don't know if it might have been like 4 or 5 days from graduation. Uh, we had been doing something in the morning. It might have been a PT. I don't remember what it was. Then our first sergeant comes in and goes, "Hey, everyone needs to go to the 3rd Battalion building, the headquarters, to do a survey, platoon survey
Ah.
with Department of Defense civilians." So our entire platoon goes over there. We're all sitting outside waiting to get called in.
The hurry up and wait. Yeah. I'm
Hurry
familiar.
up and buy.
And everyone gets called in. They do this survey with everybody in the platoon, and then they go, "Oh, well, we want to keep like 10 of you back just to do like Q&A on the survey.
Uh-huh.
Like, what do you think about the survey? What do you think about the questions?" The questions were like kind of stupid shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like,
Listen.
who do you trust? Who do you not trust? Who would you want to go to combat with? That type of shit. And then the last one was, is anyone part of an extremist or hate group?
All right. Well, first of all, a hate group, I mean,
Yeah.
literally can mean anybody.
Yeah.
It can. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's very.
Well, in today's day and
vague.
age, all the people pointing fingers at hate groups are usually the actual hate groups.
Yeah, you're right.
Wasn't a lawyer for the SPLC just arrested for domestic terrorism? I rest my case.
Yes, you are correct. All right. So they're doing a survey. They hold you back to do a survey on the survey. Continue on.
So then they're like, okay, everyone's gonna wait out here to get called in to do this survey on the survey, but you have to stay in the specific order of people that they told you to wait in line as. So it's like, okay, whatever. We listen to stupid shit all the time and do stupid shit, so I'm not supposed to have to stay in an order.
No, yeah, listen, I've
Yeah.
stayed at so many goddamn lines. I'll never remember them all. I mean, I was a master at the gay nastics of hurry up and wait. Okay, I understand completely.
Yeah.
All right.
So I was at the very end of the line, so they get through everyone else, and some people they were taking like an hour. Some people they were getting out in like 10 minutes. You know, it seemed completely random.
Okay.
Like, and we were all wondering what was going on because everyone sensed something was off.
Uh-huh.
So like every time someone come out, it'd like, would they ask you, what's this about? What's up?
I bet you 10-1 they were basically giving a similar offer to those individuals who went in before you.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of them, whenever anyone came out, it was just, they just asked me about the survey, and then we talked in depth, or with the people. Like, there was one kid in there that didn't speak English at all.
Ah, okay.
They took him in for 10 minutes, sent him out. Next.
Yeah. All right. So what happened?
So they pulled me in for an hour. We actually talked about the survey. What did I think about the questions? And then, like, weird questions about me, like,
Uh-huh.
what's the happiest thing? What was my favorite moment in boot camp? You know, just shit like that to get me, like, comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they're like, okay, well, this isn't actually about a survey. We're with the FBI. They did the quick little badge flip thing.
Uh-huh.
You know, where, like, they show you their badge, but, you know, they don't actually tell you their names and shit, so.
Okay.
And they're like, this is about your security clearance. So you have to answer these questions if you want to keep your job.
All right. Yeah. As an intel analyst, you gotta have a clearance.
I know. I had done
of
an interview with NCIS before for it. I knew, so that's why it didn't really like throw me off.
Okay.
Because I had done it and they had said there's a potential there was a follow-up. So, okay, this is the follow-up.
All right.
I found it was a little weird. The follow-up was after like a fake survey.
Well,
I like that you call it a fake survey. That's very honest.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's an interrogation thing that gets you talking about something else, and then once they get
Yeah.
rapport and you're comfortable, they turn on the heat.
Yeah, the people who want to look deep into your eyes, almost like you're a romantic lover, and keep repeating your name with the start of every fucking sentence to make it feel like you have some sort of pre-existing relationship. They teach salesmen this stuff.
Yeah. You are correct.
Yeah.
All right, so continue on.
Right. So after they go, oh, we're with the FBI. This is about your security clearance. They're like, we just need to ask you some questions. Are you a part of any extremist groups? That type of stuff. And then they said, we got to ask you about some people you've known. And they bring up this one guy I knew for a little bit.
All right.
We were friends on the internet.
You were friends with him on the internet for how long?
Like, I think we had talked on the internet for about maybe a month or two before that.
Okay. All right.
And then he was kind of like just traveling the country a bit, like going all over the place. And I'm like, oh, you should come up here.
All right.
So he came up there. We knew each other for about like a week in person. And then we were out. He wanted to buy a van because he was traveling in a car and he wanted a nicer van to be able to sleep in and shit. So he didn't have to be like renting hotels.
Okay.
So we go out to look at this one van. I went with him because I know a bit about cars. And I was just like, whatever, I'll go out there.
All right.
We check out the van and then we start to drive back, which this is like a 45-minute drive. And we get pulled over because his car was like bunk, basically. It was kind of not really registered.
Yeah. It's sketchy.
Kind of dumb. If you're driving around, have your car fucking registered.
Yeah, I got you.
They pull us over because the road we were on is like huge for drug trafficking in the area.
Okay.
So I think the cops thought that we were running drugs in between this one town that's like has a crazy drug problem and the city.
Hold on. Red Trash, New York. Those motherfuckers are cooking meth and growing weed like it's going out of style.
100%.
Some of them have stills. Don't even mess with the still guys. That's just booze. But yeah, so I'm way familiar with the red trash land you live in.
Red.
Yeah.
All right.
So they pull us over. They pull me out of the car. They start asking me questions. I immediately just I plead the fifth. And so they just put me in the back of the squad car.
Okay.
And so I just sat in there. They said they were going to tow his car because it didn't have like a proper registration. And then they went to inventory his car.
Mm-hmm.
And they find his rifle, which is illegal under the SAFE Act.
Uh-huh. Well,
Thank you, Cuomo.
Technically, he can beat that in federal court because the Supreme Court's already shot that down.
Apparently, he was also a felon beforehand. I didn't even know that. And apparently, he was a felon.
That could be a problem.
That's a problem. A felon with a gun. Yeah. Okay.
So he's kind of screwed on that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So they arrested him. They let me go because I didn't know anything about his gun. I didn't, and he claimed it. He's like, yeah, it was his.
Uh-huh.
So they let me go. They arrested him, and that was pretty much the last time. Well, after he got bailed out, I basically was like, sorry, I can't really hang out with you, like if you're going to be in trouble and shit.
Yeah, I got you.
Best of luck to you, but I kind of can't be involved in that.
No, that's reasonable. Now, I'm just going to let you know right now that if the FBI knew that you were talking to him, every email and every text you've had with that guy is on a docket somewhere. Just so you know.
I'm sure of it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we part ways. I move on with my life. Eventually, I get around to, I went to community college.
Okay.
I realized I didn't like community college, so I decided to join the Marine Corps.
All right. Well, it is what it is. Okay. Now, what were you going to college for?
Like forestry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got you. That's cool. All right. So, and then
I didn't actually like that. I was bad at like showing up to college.
No, I understand. I was the same. Listen, when I got out of the off active duty to go to school, I treated it like a goddamn job. All right. Now, I know that if I had gone to college without going in the military, there's no way I would have completed it or done well at all because I literally had no fucks to give.
Yeah.
I just literally, I was sick with the whole thing. And mainly because I went all the way through high school with dyslexia that was undiagnosed. And I literally thought I was some kind of idiot. It turns out I'm not. You know, what are you going to do? All right. So you go through the thing. Now, did anyone else in your class get, kicked out as well?
No one else. No one else in my platoon got kicked out during this event. I think the other people were just randomly chosen.
Okay, could be. It could be that they offered him a similar deal. Now, I talked with a former Marine Corps recruiter. He's retired now. And I talked to him about your situation. And he basically said that they discharged you. That was 100% on the Marine Corps to do that. The FBI, they can make recommendations, but, they're not the ones that pull the strings. It's the Marine Corps.
I mean, that has some validity, but at the same time, with the politicization of all the alphabet agencies and how they've been basically just wiping their ass with the Constitution.
I gotcha.
It wouldn't surprise me if there was some bribery or threats made in order to make this happen.
I wasn't in the room. I don't know. I'm just telling you what the Marine Corps guy told me. He's like, more than likely, the chain of command, they were pissed off at you and they were looking for, just any way to punish you. And they basically, said you knew an extremist, you didn't disclose it, even though you only met the guy for a week.
Yeah.
All right. He's not like a friend. He's more like an acquaintance. You talked online and I got you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to just listen. They fucked you, bro.
Yeah.
Straight up.
They're like an extension of the woke mob now. Instead of going back 10 years on your Twitter to find shit you said that was wrong, they want to, cross-reference every acquaintance you ever had. Oh, you bumped into him at the store one time? Well, you're guilty by proxy.
If they're doing this to you, they're probably doing this to a lot of individuals.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying. Okay. And now they wanted you. Now, exactly what did they want you to do?
Well, the one thing was they wanted me to tie the guy I knew to the North Carolina power grid attack because he lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
Close to where it happened. And they're like, listen, if you can solve a major terrorist attack like this, $250,000, and you can just go back to doing whatever you want, that's cool, whatever. No one cares.
All right.
And then also there were two other propositions on the table of potentially staying in the Marine Corps and working to find like terrorist cells inside the Marine Corps, or to leave the Marine Corps and work as a confidential informant on the outside, joining a bunch of different neo-Nazi and white nationalist groups. Yeah.
Okay.
Naturally. It doesn't even sound like they wanted to solve the case of the power grid attack. It sounds like they wanted a patsy to pin it on.
No, they were desperate. They're like, did he say anything like hinting at it or
now listen,
just talking about the concept, stuff like that?
Yeah, that attack shut down the power grid for a lot of people, and I'm almost sure the assets at the top are pushing down, trying to get these guys to get results. Unfortunately, when that happens, there's a very good chance people who aren't involved are going to get hemmed up for it and go down.
Yep.
Because, listen, our legal system is effed up and needs to be overhauled because it's getting to the point where you can't – everything is a felony.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten to the point now where the alphabet agencies will literally manufacture crimes just to throw people they think might be extremists in jail. You already mentioned the Whitmer kidnapping plot, which was like 12 glowies and 3 average dudes who had nothing to do with planning or executing it.
But, I'm going to do everything in my power to correct this injustice, in my opinion. If I'm successful, I'll get you into the National Guard system. And then, you can hang out there for 6 months to 8 months, and then go to an active duty recruiter, get a paragraph and line number, and then you fill out a packet with your command, and it is. And if you need help getting some horsepower on that, I am good at administrative violence, and I know how to make the wheels of the bureaucracy in the military work just a wee bit faster.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.